Oh, at Amber.
Alrighty.
And that's a little town which is no more. And it's out in the Scab Rock country of Spokane, south of Spokane. I grew up a happy kid,
Yeah.
and my family grew up as happy people, any more than anybody else. But we somehow always had enough. And I was raised in a country store. Through the years, that became the center of the town. And the people then, who were fighting the Depression along with my family, they were just as tired of pork and beans as we were. And my dad was pretty well versed in the effects of the Depression. He was born and raised in a son of a Swedish immigrant. They knew how hard the work was. Well, that was part of who he is. He knew his people awful well. And he, at times, would deliberately dent a can and put it in somebody's bag, which he couldn't sell it anyway. He lived by a very simple quality of life. Just don't lie and work hard. Now, he did it to a T. My mother was one of those who, in this time of her life, she was supposed to be the belle of the world, I guess. I don't know. She could musician, organ, piano, violin, all of it. Say that she was waiting for her dream boat to come in. All that came in was a raft of kids. Well, we had things on the table. We didn't worry about that so much. But we didn't get tired of pork and beans. At times, had to stretch what was on the table. Mm-hmm. But then we knew what everybody else did too. Men thought we ruled the roost. Women, it was a common tradition that your only job is to have babies and cook. Woman, out of the Depression, was kind of a new form of the farm wife. Whenever there was an issue in town that was needed a lot of talk, and boy, people talk. Well, out of that would come a voice or two, and it would be a woman's voice. And we called it Pepper. And if that woman had pepper, oh, we listened. Mm-hmm. Well, it was quiet, but very effective. Since then, women rule the roost. What stands out most was the death of President Roosevelt. That was supposed to end the world, and it didn't. The conditions that he left, by the time he died, of course, were pretty well all established. The WPA, the work, the CCC, all those programs were already in full force. And they were far from being fully employed, but they were doing their job. And the rest of the country were going through the kinds of hunger and depression, and a lot of other things that didn't affect us that much. My older brother, who was 10 years older than I am, worked in they call it the CC camps, and the WPA is the government trying to relieve the poverty. So the younger people were really encouraged to get into those areas of work. He worked on the Grand Coulee Dam. I think he did some WPA work. I don't think it made any difference in the quality of his life. He played baseball like the rest of us, lived a full life, anything he could ask. By the time I came along in 1927, why, a lot of these things had already been established. I think out in the general public that our little community, being agriculture based, really didn't worry too much about what the rest of the country was. I won't say they weren't hurt by the Depression, they were, like everybody else. But they were survivors. They knew what it was to work hard, they knew what it was to survive, they knew what it was to take care of each other. The Depression more or less belonged to the rest of the country, more than it did to us. Our little agricultural town didn't react quite like the rest of the nation had to. The values of that time were something that I'm afraid we might have forgotten, and that's that people had to deal with each other, but we could not ignore each other. We had to help each other, and so people took care of each other. We found a way to survive, and I had a good life.